Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm going to be riding Zwift here, but I wanted to show you something really cool. I just got this like a little over a week ago. It's called the Sterzo, I believe is how you pronounce it, smart steering device. So it's made by a company called Elite, who makes a bunch of trainer equipment. And Sterzo Smart is the model. And basically, as I turn my wheel, it steers in the game of Zwift, which I don't have set up yet. So we'll do that in a second. But what's kind of interesting is I've always had this GoPro head strap thing, but I never use it because I'm always wearing a helmet. I don't need to wear a helmet for this, so let's use the GoPro while I'm doing this review, and then you can see Zwift and see what's going on a lot better. And we'll review the steering device, and I'll talk a little bit about Zwift while I'm at it, because it's a cool training device, or training app I should say, and it really helps me in the colder months to keep riding my bike and stay in shape. And it actually adds a little bit of fun and challenge, and there's a way to get points and all this stuff. So they call them drops actually, which is referencing drops of sweat. If that makes sense. So yeah, let's get to it. As I'm editing this video of Zwift, I realize you can't really see, I mean, you can see the rider and stuff pretty well. You can't really see that center block. So as you're watching this video, I'll pop that in on the upper left corner for you. But there's still a lot of good info about Zwift here. So hopefully you enjoy this video. I will make more of these and obviously learn a little bit more about how I want to film for a little better quality visual for you guys. So I'd say this one's kind of quality footage, but I talk about a lot of really good things. So back to the video. I just wanted to say this right at the beginning so you understand, you know, that I see that the quality isn't all that great of what you're seeing on the screen. But you do get to see how the steering device works and understand the things I'm trying to describe on the screen. Okay, here I am. I'm in the game. If you don't know what Zwift is, you're about to find out. It's a pretty cool virtual app. And I have the steering device down there. So let's go ahead and test this out. I'm gonna choose this figure 8 reverse. So what you do is there's these different worlds. I'm gonna go to routes, and I decided to select the figure 8 reverse. So it's about an 18-mile ride. That's what I want to do. And I've done the regular direction, so I want to try something new, get my little green check mark on there. So let's do that. So I'm gonna hit OK, and then I'm gonna go ahead and hit ride. There's a lot of other options here, but I'm just gonna show you the basics for now. And this is gonna start me out in this world here on that course. And this will take a minute to load, so we'll get back to this once it's loaded. Alright, so I already started pedaling and I'm moving. I just wanted to talk about a few things. So here's the companion app on my phone. It shows me where I am on the map. It's pretty cool. It's got a lot of other options. You can use it to change directions, do things if you need to do them. You can use it to, like, say, ride on to other riders, things like that. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna stop so I can show you how everything syncs up here. So when you stop in Zwift, if for some reason you missed syncing up at the beginning, or something got out of sync, you can always stop riding. You'll see this menu thing. The nice thing is your timer stops, your distance stops, so you're not penalized for this time you're sitting. Go to the menu, go to garage. Apparently if I'm moving, I can't change what I'm riding while I'm moving. Here we'll look at the different bikes. Some of these I've earned. You're really given 3 bikes to begin with, these Zwift bikes. But I earned this Specialized. I purchased the gravel bike, the Canyon, and I purchased the Moots. I'm on the Specialized because it is the lightest and, you know, equally as aerodynamic as the other ones, but lighter helps on the climbs and stuff. If I go back, there's all these other options. You can do wheels. It's pretty cool. I have these DT Swiss ones on here. They're more aero, a little lighter than the stock ones, things like that. So super cool. You can earn things in the game. You can see how many drops I have up here. So it kind of makes it more like a video game, just fun, things like that. Over here is your shop, all these different things. So this stuff is pretty cool, and you got to earn getting to these things just by riding and using the app. So we're going to close that. Let's go to the pair screen. All right, so we're here to talk about this steering device, and I'm talking about all this other stuff, but that's how I roll sometimes. Here's the steering device. It is connected. One thing I want to note is that when I first bought this, I needed to update the Sterzo device by downloading the app on my phone and getting the latest version. It wasn't syncing. Once I did that, it syncs just fine now. You also need to make sure you like steer with it and activate it, get the blue light on, so when it's activated, then it'll sync up here. There is a calibration part where you go here and you can calibrate. I already did it, so I'm not gonna go through it again. It's pretty straightforward. All my other devices are connected. My watch, heart rate. This is my kicker trainer. This also is controlled by the kicker trainer, and my cadence is this little device from Garmin on my crank arm. So it's all good. All right, so we're gonna say okay, and I'm gonna start riding. I'm gonna show you how the steering device works. So I'm pedaling. Let's get up to speed. All right, so if I turn my handlebars, my rider will steer. But notice I can't go anywhere. It's not like Grand Theft Auto where you're just free to go wherever you want. This is limited to within the lane that you're supposed to be riding in. So I can't go into oncoming riders, and I can't go off into the sand over here. And people can run in this game, so you'll see runners. Hey, is this one coming up? So you will see runners. They use treadmills, stuff like that. These are actual people. So that person's on a treadmill somewhere in the world. Those people are riding their trainer somewhere in the world. It's pretty cool. And I can steer around. So what advantage does this steering have if I can't go outside of this lane? Well, I'll show you. Let me get up to speed. Let's just see if I can even catch that person. Might wear myself out doing it. And if I'm over here, not much gain is happening. But if I speed up and I get over here and get right behind these guys, now I'm drafting. And it makes my pedaling gets a little easier. Of course, not when I'm on a climb like this, but so I can steer and get in other riders' drafts. The game will sometimes do this automatically, but it's not guaranteed. If you have the steering device, you can literally aim your rider where you want them. It's pretty cool. So that's where it works in Zwift. Whew. Let's get into a place where, okay, so now that it's level and going down, I can actually gain something. If you look at my watts over here, I'm doing 17. This person isn't going very fast, but usually you can draft and get up to some pretty fast speeds. It's pretty seamless. Like it's almost like riding a normal bike. Not quite, but it's better than doing nothing. Now you can see, like I barely need to pedal. I can keep up with that person. All right, cool. All right, so let's talk about a few things in the game here. This over here is kind of my map where I'm at. This little graphic up here is kind of my close view of the grade that I'm on. The little line at the bottom here is the bigger view of the kind of the grades that I'm going to be going on. Downshift, get up this hill, and you can see visually kind of when you're going up hills and down hills and stuff. So it's pretty cool. You can see I'm going up a 7% right now. Let's get up this hill. Over here you see my watts that I'm putting out, and my RPM, and my heart rate, which is nice to know. These things are pretty straightforward. I don't think they're hard to understand. What I got confused about is what's going on here in the middle. What are all those things? Well, this top row, pretty straightforward. That's my speed. Duh, right? This is a distance I've traveled so far, 14 miles. This is how much climbing I've done, 115 feet. And it'll only count how much you've climbed. It doesn't care about riding flat or descending, because that's what people want to know is within a given distance, how much did they climb. This is how long I've been riding for. That's pretty straightforward across the board there. This orange line, I didn't know what that was forever. That's actually kind of my meter that goes across, and as I ride more, it slowly goes to the right. That's my level meter. So when it gets all the way to the right, it bumps me up to the next level. I recently just got to level 15. If you look at my rider, you can see they have a 15 jersey for level 15. So you can earn jerseys and socks and helmets and other things by increasing your level. It's kind of cool. So you see my 15 over there. That just tells me that I have steering, right? Talked about that. This thing over on the right, that's the drops thing. What drops is the more I ride, it's based off of the amount of work you do. So they basically say it's like sweat. So the more I sweat, the more work I do, the more drops I earn. And they kind of accumulate relatively quickly. And those are basically like money. The more drops you get, the more things you can purchase. I did that on those other screens where I showed you the different bikes and frames and things like that, right? You can tell I'm getting a little winded. So that's cool. That stuff wasn't very straightforward to me. Over here, these are just riders that are near me. So if you happen to know somebody, you might see them on there. But if you, for me, it's like I don't really care that much who else is Zwifting, unless I'm Zwifting with friends or something. Then we come over here. This thing you can turn on or off. That's kind of how much power I'm putting in. So you can see when I'm on this climb and my wattage goes up, it'll turn more red, right? And then if I relax some, like now that I'm on 1%, you'll see it goes down into blue or green. Even like gray is like pretty low wattage, right? So it's kind of your wattage meter. And then this is little bonuses you can get. So I have a little aerodynamic thing, a truck drafting thing. It's over here on my phone, so I can trigger it whenever I want to use it. That's kind of cool. And then this here is Hilly Loop. That's the actual loop or section of the map I'm on. And 30-day PR. Doesn't look like I have anything going on there. Pretty self-explanatory. And then this is the actual course that I'm on that I selected at the beginning of the game. Figure 8 route. And that blue bar is my progress. So you know, I've ridden 2.6 miles. I have 15.9 miles left to go. So that's how all that works. So when you first get into this, it's a little confusing, but the more you do it, the more you learn. These little things come up, and then I can go over here and choose if I want to go off the course that I have planned. If I wanted to take a right turn, I could up here, but I want to stay on the course that I planned. This figure 8 loop, so I'm not going to touch that, but I could have taken a left right there if I wanted to, and those notifications will come up every now and then. If for some reason the course you selected, you decided you didn't want to do it anymore, this is the U-turn option. You can click, and you got to click and hold these down. You can't just touch it, so it does. So if you accidentally touch it, you won't do anything, but if you press and hold it, it'll actually U-turn you. So it's pretty cool. They make it so you don't accidentally do things. Now that I'm on this, I'm going to use my little drafting boost and get into it. See? So it's a tiny bit easier. I think it gives me like a 10% assistance when I use that. And of course now I went into a climb, so I kind of wasted it, but I don't really care. I'm not racing anybody or anything. So that's pretty much all about most of the Zwift stuff. This thing here, every once in a while, if you look at these little markers on the big map, you'll get in these little competition things. So I'm in the middle of their Zwift King of Mountain challenge, and if I really cared to, I could push really hard till I get to this marker and then see what my ranking is. You can see I'm at 42 seconds. The first place guy is 4 minutes 18 seconds. So I'd have to beat that time to get first place, which I'm definitely not gonna do. So I mostly ignore those things. Every once in a while I'll try them, but for the most part I want to ride my ride and not worry about it. Cool. That pretty much covers everything in Zwift. And this is the steering device, which is pretty cool. This climb is getting steep, 10%. Going to my small ring. Might even stand up. Whew, yeah. There we go. All right. There's a lot of work. Looks like I have some climbing ahead of me. Now that the climbing's mellowed a little bit, before I go, they do have a little mountain bike course on this, and I'm gonna do a different video on how to get that. And it's actually a course where the steering actually comes into play, because you actually have to steer the course or you go off to the sides. So that mountain bike course is pretty cool, and I'm gonna set that up at some point and do a little video on it and how to get there even and try it. I will definitely select the mountain bike and not the road bike when I do that. Cool. Okay, I'm in my last mile. Whew, I am worked, and you can see my power has gone down because after 17.4 miles I can't maintain a higher level of wattage. At least I can't. Some riders can. Been riding for almost an hour. Gonna have a little bit of a climb here, and then we'll cross the finish line soon. All right, let's finish this off. Okay, here we go. Coming into the finish. I can barely maintain 200 watts now. As much as I try, my legs are just gassed. There we go. And then trying to keep my momentum and finish strong. You can see we got less than 1,000 feet left. The finish is right up there. You can see the little arch. Here we go. Oh wow. Boom. All right. Okay. So what I normally do, tells me my route's complete, gave me some more experience points. So I want to slow down and cool down. I generally let my heart rate come down to around 130 before I stop riding. So I'm just cooling down now. Might as well use my aerodynamic boost for no reason whatsoever, just because I can. All right, so you can see my heart rate's coming down, low watts. Cool. So a couple of things to notice. If you see the orange bar, it went up quite a bit just in this one ride. And so when it gets to the end, I'll move up to level 16. So that's pretty cool. And it's basically started my ride over again, but I'm not going to do the ride over again. I'm just cooling down now. I'm down to 140. And then we'll show you the statistics screen at the end here. All right, that's good enough for me. It's good to just not suddenly stop when you work that hard. All right, so let's look at the statistics on this. Okay, I've switched over to my phone. Let's go ahead and hit the menu and end this ride. So here you can see the statistics. So you can see kind of the different wattage levels that I had throughout the ride. 667, right? And then up here you got how many miles I rode, time, calories burned, 610. I believe I burned more than that. I don't think that's very accurate. How much I've climbed, 839 feet. Here you get some graphs, cool things like that. And if I want to go over to my garage and stuff and play around with things, or sometimes if you've earned something during your ride, you might want to go and equip it before your ride's over. You have to be in the ride to get to your garage, which I find kind of interesting, but that's what they do. Let's end the ride. And this gives me another kind of overview. Whew. Still winded, right? So it shows some stats from other people over there, I believe. There's the map I rode. My stats up there. Haven't seen average watts yet, but let's see what happens. Oh, critical power. Let's see what this gives me. So 177 average watts. I'm usually a little higher than that, but I'm a little lower because the first few minutes of the game I was pedaling pretty mellow and then pushed pretty hard and kind of blew myself up near the end. So yeah, cool. Quit out of here. I want to save it, and when I save it, it goes to my Strava settings because I have it synced with Strava. Goes to my Garmin app, all that stuff. So pretty cool. That's Zwift right there in a nutshell. I'm drenched in sweat, like totally drenched. This is the only time I ever get this sweaty is when I'm pushing on this. I don't when I'm riding outdoors, and I think the reason why is because the wind is always kind of drying me off at the same time. But indoors, man, I just get drippy, drenched, nasty, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I really appreciate your support for my channel. Hopefully you like this. I'll do that mountain bike course coming up here soon, and I believe there's a gravel bike course that I'm going to find, and I'll do that also. Peace.